Hey guys, what is going on? Sharp Thinking here. So I wanted to revisit a knife that I previously did a video on about 2 years ago, I want to say. And I was a little overcritical of it, and I don't know, sometimes I can be like that, but I didn't think I was fair to the actual design, especially, all things considered. And I wanted to revisit it, and yeah, so this is the Cold Steel Recon 1. This one is the s35vn version. The one I reviewed previously was in XHP. I thought this variant was going to be hollow ground, but unfortunately it is just a saber flat. Is it the end of the world? No. But it is actually what prompted this video. So, basically, I had a bunch of complaints about the Recon 1 in the previous video that I did, and just getting the exact knife back in hand, more or less. Obviously, the steel is different, but it just kind of opened my eyes a little bit. So I wanted to talk about it. I guess we'll start with the size comparison first. Spyderco Military, ton of glare. Here it is against the SOCOM. These are both larger tactical knives, hard use, sort of. This one more so than the military. Spartan blades, Palace, another knife that I was perhaps a little too critical of, although the lock did fail. And then this is the Chris Reeve Umnumzan. You guys know that. The XM18 3.5, one of my favorite beater user knives of all time. And then we have the Strider SNG. So that concludes our size comparison. So I guess we'll start with the blade. So it's a 3.5 mil thick blade of s35vn. The heat treat on these knives is typically pretty good for the price. I have not used this one a ton, but I remember the XHP was good stuff. Yeah, so this one is the Bowie / clip blade with the DLC coating. This is a real DLC coating. A lot of knives have PVD, which is that matte kind of look. I believe they're very similar, if not the same coating. It just more has to do with the application. So I think this is like a PVD, so you can see it's matte, shows scuffs. This is more along the lines of what Microtech uses on their Signature series. So it's very smooth, very hard. It does scratch, but to a lesser extent than PVD. So definitely like amazing to see in a knife at this price. I've always liked this DLC a little bit more. It's not as tactical, I guess, but it is still quite nice. The lock bar is done with the same coating. Very smooth overall in terms of opening, but we're going to keep talking about the blade. So thickness behind the edge is okay. It's about 20 thousandths, 25 at the very base down here. I've not sharpened it. It might change after that. But, is it great? No. Is it XM18 thickness? No. It's pretty good. Not bad. It does kind of sadden me to see that this is not as thin as the AUS-8 version. But, again, it is what it is. I guess we'll talk about the lock. So this features the Triad lock. Great locking system. I don't play with my knives as much as other people, so I really don't mind a back lock. It's fine. It deploys. It's pretty easy to open this guy up. Some people complain about them being stiff. That's not been my experience with this knife. I like Andrew Demko's locks. He does a lot of cool locks. The 8015, great knife. I'm talking about the mid-tack and custom, but that lock is very innovative. The 8020, which I owned, the Scorpion lock is a dream to use. Amazing interface on that lock, and from a, I guess, force standpoint, that knife made so much sense. So basically, the more force that was put down on the blade, the more the lock would be pulled forward, in theory. Of course, I don't have a way to test that, but or to see if it would actually work. If you handle the lock, you'll understand what I'm talking about, and you'll probably agree with that assessment. But that was just an ingenious lock design. I mean, and he does. Here's the thing about him. He does these all the fucking time. He makes a new lock, and it's not some gimmick piece of shit lock. It's like a legitimate, incredible like design, and they're usually quite strong. I think the 8015 may have been a departure from that. Not that it wasn't strong, but it was just strong in a different way. So yeah, the Triad lock, you guys probably already know a ton about it, but it's basically a back lock dug out a little bit deeper. You can see how high that lock bar is sitting, so it's a deeper channel, and it has a stop pin. It's, you know, such a simple thing. You know, you would think, why didn't I think of that? And that's oftentimes how these incredible locks are. They're just something very simple and very easy to use. So yeah, not too stiff, at least in my opinion. The handle is good. The G10 is quite nice, especially for a knife of this price. A lot of G10 is that kind of plasticky China shit, which I don't love. I do like G10. I think I like it more than carbon fiber, if I'm being honest. But this stuff is great. I got this knife used, so it's not as rough as it would be from the factory, but still very nice texture. Ergonomics. So here's a legitimate criticism. In this grip, which is how I hold the knife when I just kind of pick it up, and it's just a very intuitive grip. So I pick the knife up, and pretty much this is how I'm holding the knife. Now, when it comes to use, unless I'm cutting on a cutting board, cutting on a flat surface, this is how I'm going to hold it. But if I'm cutting cardboard, I'm going to more than likely choke up like this, and that's where I run into one small issue. So my hand kind of shifts over, and this guy pinches me a little bit. Not the end of the world, but it is something to note if you cut a ton of cardboard. Ergonomics, otherwise, the back does have a little slope. Depending on the shape of your hand, that might push into your palm and cause discomfort, but it's not, for whatever reason, at least in my experience, been as bad as some of the other knives that I've mentioned that on. The clip, I love the clip. It's very small, very stout, black coated, good stuff. I know a lot of people don't like the clip, or they think it's too strong. I would disagree. I think it holds the knife well, and for a knife of this length, I think it makes sense. It doesn't interfere with ergonomics really at all. It's pretty out of the way. Sometimes these clips can cause little hot spots, especially if you cut a significant amount. But yeah, moving on. Hardware, pretty nice. It's not going to be super high quality. These are pretty small screws. It's not that they're not high quality, but they're not going to be, you know, CRK level. But you can't expect that for, you know, what are these going for, like 90 to 120, which is something that also saddens me a little bit. Now, I do realize that they've upped the blade steel and the coating is significantly nicer, but these, back in my day when I was, you know, growing up, were about 60, 70 bucks on Amazon. Now they're looking to be about 120. I didn't look around really, but I don't know. It is kind of a lot. Yes, inflation. Yes, nicer materials. So I get it, and all in all, it's still not bad. I mean, these militaries are about 200 now. They used to be 120. So I get it. But yeah, kind of interesting. I do like the knife quite a bit, and I'm probably either going to keep it, carry it, and torture test it, or I'll do a giveaway with it, and someone who wants the knife can get it. I only paid about $30 from a buddy for this guy, so you know I'm not going to be out too much. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.